Hi, I'm Sarah Zervos from Global Reach. Today's Friday, so it's a great day to talk about beer. In fact, we're going to talk about global beer because two of the world's largest brewing companies might become one. AB InBev is the world's biggest brewing company. You might know them because Anheuser-Busch creates things like Bud, Bud Light, Stella Artois. It's also a very big company in Brazil and makes some of the most famous Brazilian beers. Secondly, we have SABMiller. You might obviously know them too because Miller is a household name here in America, but they're actually from South Africa and headquartered in the UK. They have a large presence in Africa. Besides making Miller, they are the biggest bottling company for Coca-Cola in the African region. They also have a very big presence in places like India and China. So you can imagine AB InBev takes a look at SABMiller and says, they've got access to probably the fastest growing demographic market in the world, Africa, led by Nigeria. And they're also present in these big countries like India and China. So why do we care? Well, first of all, we might have a taste of some new interesting beers here in America because maybe we'll get access to things like Tanzanian brewers or the South Sudan Brewing Company. That'd be pretty interesting, and who knows, maybe could display some of the craft beers that are coming out of California or Colorado. But more importantly, it's actually about the stock prices and the impact these mergers have on stock prices. You can look at actually the stock price that was for SABMiller on the 14th of September when that offer was made. AB InBev came and said, we'll pay you 44% more than that closing price if you let us take you over. Of course, SABMiller said, no thanks, that's too low, too cheap, raise your price. So in these last few weeks, we've had a lot of back and forth in terms of what's going on with that price and is it going to actually, the deal going to get done. The deal, I would say, probably will get done, but there's a regulatory angle too, and that's because the two companies combined will actually control over, I think it's around 70% of the beer that is shipped or produced in the United States. So, the regulators, because they're looking out for you, Mr. Beer Drinker, want to make sure that your beer prices don't go up too much if these guys take over that big of a market. But back to the stock prices, actually. In the last few years, we've seen more and more of these big companies merge or take over each other. And that's because they don't see a lot of opportunities for growth because the economies just aren't growing. So the way they get bigger is to use cash or debt, because debt's really cheap, in order to buy the next biggest country, whether it's in this country or in another country. So, as we're looking for future stock price growth, we need a couple things to happen. One is that the economy just started doing better, so that companies have better earning prospects. Or two, we just see more and more of these merger waves continue. Either way, I hope you have a great Friday.